Welcome in, everybody. Another Full Court Trap episode here with my main man, Blake Smith, Recruit Zone, as usual. And as you can see, we have a very special guest here today. First appearance on the Full Court Trap, first player interview for us. Very excited. All SEC freshman, all SEC second team. Josh Hubbard of the Mississippi State Bulldogs is here with us. Josh, how you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, enjoying the holiday season, Thanksgiving. I know you had some games going on. Did you get to enjoy Turkey Day a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we spent time with each other with the team, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a regular Thanksgiving, but no better day than the hoop. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I guess a little mini question to start off. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
for me personally, I'm gonna have to say mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
I
I like
I'm
that.
agree.
gonna, I'm gonna go back on the mac and cheese a couple times.
Yeah,
Couple
I'm
times.
kind I'm kind of a mac and cheese like that's kind of a regular thing.
Yeah,
So like it's hard for me to think it's actually like just Thanksgiving only. So one food that I only ever eat on Thanksgiving is stuffing and dressing. So I rock
yeah,
with that. That's what I'm going back for seconds on.
feel that. I feel it.
Blake, what are you feeling on that one? We got to get your input too.
Man, macaroni is I eat that like once a week. It's not really a Thanksgiving thing for me, dude. But
that co- that college meal lifestyle.
yeah, it's awful, dude.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's stop messing around about Thanksgiving here, and Josh, let's get into basketball here. That's what you're here for. So, I guess to start it off, for those who may have not followed your journey this far, what do you want to tell them about your early childhood days with hooping, high school, coming up in the ranks, all that stuff? What did your journey to Mississippi State look like?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the easiest journey. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I come from a small town in Mississippi, and in the country, somewhat being overlooked. Not just myself,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of Mississippi guys. And so, I was blessed to have offers from Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and just other offers outside the state. And but I always wanted to stay in state. That was a big thing for me, and just represent Mississippi. And so, coming in high school, I was just so driven. My dad kept me driven, to just continue to work to play at the next level. And so, at one point, I was committed to Ole Miss, and then coaching changed with Kermit Davis, and then Chris James got the job at State. And after seeing them, what they accomplished after the first year, it was just a no brainer where I was going to go. So.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I guess that kind of leads into my next question. What was like, I mean, you talked about it a little bit already, but what was the biggest selling point for Mississippi State with you? Like, what put them above the rest for you?
Yeah, it was just the connectiveness of the team, and uh, for especially for Jan's first year, just to make the tournament. That was a big thing for my dad, and just the success that he created just his first year, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's really what kind of sold us out, and just the way they competed. And my dad and I just really just like the connectiveness of the team, and Coach Jans did a good job of that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Blake, what you got?
So my first question for you, Josh, is like, what schools, besides Mississippi State, were compelling to play for before you decided there? Because I remember like when we worked with each other, like during your time in high school, I remember one time you did like a story takeover, with me, like at LSU, I believe it was.
Yeah,
Yeah. What
yeah,
other?
yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask like, what other schools like stood out basically?
Yeah, I think my junior year of high school, I was pretty much sold on LSU.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Will Wade and all them, and my guy Devin Ree, he was committed there at the time, and I forgot the other guard's name. That was he went to a prep school, but they had a
Was it
good
Mike
class.
Williams?
Nah, it was he played at Georgetown. Got the hair.
I forget off the
I'm
top of
trying.
Yeah,
my head.
I can't
yeah,
think either.
but yeah, I was pretty much sold on them for my junior year. That was a pretty cool experience just to see all the coaches want me, and but after I got my uh thing released for Ole Miss, it was pretty much like Mississippi State and Seton Hall, and so that was just a no brainer for me just to choose Mississippi State. So
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's working out really well for you, man. Like you're
yeah,
balling over there at Mississippi State. And then my next question is is the high school scoring record in Mississippi, is that like your top accomplishment, you think?
yeah, I would have to say so. Only reason I would say that record is because of the other names that comes with it. You know, you got Monte Ellis, Chris Jackson. You know, just those legendary pro players that come from Mississippi, Devin Booker, and
Yeah.
so the list goes on and on. And for me to just take that number one spot, it still seems surreal to me.
Yeah.
So
I still remember when you first broke that, dude. I was like, wow.
yeah,
I was shocked. Luke, you can take away from here for the next couple questions.
For sure, for sure. So I got one more little kind of high school piece, and then we'll transition into your freshman year and what you got going on right now. So you've obviously been recruited. You know what it's like for a coach to come into your home and tell you why they should pick your program. So for anybody out there, a recruit that's got Mississippi State on their radar, for you personally, what would you say to them to convince them that Starkville could be their home?
yeah. I think the main thing is just honesty. You know, from a coach's point of view, you know, they're gonna do everything they can to attract you. You know, I would do the same thing if I was a head coach at a university. But with Mississippi State, I remember sitting in the film room and Coach Jans had all my numbers from AAU, and and he was just being honest with me, like, you're not that good going left. You know, you come here, we're gonna fix that, and my numbers have improved, and so he was just so honest. I remember just my visits. He never told me like a thing to like catch my eye. So I think that's the main thing. I think we got a great recruiting class. I think top five in the nation for 2025, and
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
think a lot of kids are starting to see that, especially how we play as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, and side note on the scoring record, Monte Ellis, he was a demon on 2K for me back in the day as a kid playing.
man,
he
man,
he went crazy. I don't know if you're big in the 2K games or not. I'm not
oh
really
yeah,
anymore, but those games got
yeah.
too weak for me, man. I can't do that anymore. But we'll move on from that. We'll get to what really matters here. So freshman year at Mississippi State, you're coming in, you're the new guy. What was the hardest thing you think that you had to adapt to from going to high school ranks to a SEC D1 program like Mississippi State?
Yeah, I think it was just adapting to the physicality and knowing when. Those you got big guys down there, 7 footers, but I played Nike EYBL, and so I played tall people as well. But it's just the strength, and that grown man strength, and so
Yeah.
it was just different. And then I had to get used to the speed and just knowing when. But a lot of people don't know this. Like when I first came in, like I had so many turnovers. Like in practice, it was bad, and
Yeah.
so I just had to learn like little stuff, just like play off too. Read the help man, behind the ball screen, and so it was just little stuff that I had to adapt to. So
Yeah, for sure. And with all this like COVID extra year and stuff, like playing against dudes who are even like a year older than normally in college, I bet that was a big challenge as well.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Because you got some schools that are rolling out some grown men out there, man. Like we got these
Yeah,
6-year seniors and stuff, but I think that's starting to fade out of college basketball a little bit. But besides just like the whole adapting process, what do you think was the most memorable part of your freshman year at Mississippi State, and who was some of like the tougher players you had to go up against?
yeah. Most memorable, I think it's just those ranked wins.
Mm-hmm.
We there's nothing like beating a team in your conference and either on the road or at home. And they're ranked, and so it just the way we practice. We practice so hard. It's just so rewarding when we get a win, especially against a ranked team. And so, yeah, I think those are the most memorable, especially because like just the toughness and the defensive mindset we had, and like just the overall victory. And so
Yeah.
a lot of man, I played a whole lot of players, and so man, Don Connett, Rob Dillingham, Reed Shepard,
Hmm.
those are just a few people. But man, just the SEC last year, it was stacked, and it's stacked again this year.
Yeah.
And so those are pros, man. There's a lot of pros in the SEC every year, and so yeah, those are the main guys that come to my head when I think about the best players I played against.
Yeah, the SEC was really tough last year. I mean, you see Dog Connect, what he's doing in the NBA right now, and then Rob, like you said, starting to make a little bit of an impact with the Timberwolves. And
Yeah,
SEC, I mean, traditionally everybody looks at it as a college football conference, but I think they're slowly starting to gain some more respect when it comes to basketball as well.
most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And I guess back to the tough players, this kind of leads into something similar. What do you think was one of the harder venues that you've played at, like hostile road environments? Because I know there's a lot of them in the SEC.
Yeah, I haven't experienced all of them yet, but since last year, um, I would have to say South Carolina. Now,
Oh.
yeah, what I've heard from my other teammates, it was like James' first year was Arkansas,
Mm,
but Ole Miss was allowed too, but I think South Carolina got them beat though.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
yeah, it was real loud in there.
Were they letting you have it a little bit extra at Ole Miss last year because of the whole history and the recruiting process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I got a lot of
I,
boos and some fingers, so it's all
hey,
part of
man.
it though.
Hey, man, the haters are your biggest fans, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Blake, you got it.
I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier, and so did you, Josh. But like growing up in Mississippi, like how much does that like elevate how you want to play on the floor, and like how much does that team, the state, mean to you?
Yeah, it means a whole lot, especially, just growing up in Mississippi and me knowing a lot of, history about Mississippi State and players that went through there, and even my brother going there for school. It's just a full circle moment, and it's definitely important to me, especially because, like, wearing that that Mississippi State across your chest, man, it just means a whole lot when you're actually from the state. And so it was just God's blessing,
Yeah,
for me to be here, man. So
yeah, most definitely. And then we can move on to like personal, like more personal questions. Like my big one to start off is like, who's your go-to artist like pregame to listen to?
oh man, mine is Drake. I love
Drake.
Drake. Every game.
Valid.
Every
He's on
game.
his Jared McCain stuff.
Yeah.
He's hooping with the 76ers. I'm impressed with him this
Man.
year so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some personal questions as well. I got one more when it comes to college. I just wanted to ask you. So obviously, last year y'all made the tournament were you an 8 seed or a 9 seed?
I think we were at 9.
Yeah,
would
9.
say.
I remember
like
y'all.
that,
Yeah, y'all played Michigan State, and
Mhm.
obviously that game didn't go the way you wanted it. But I mean, getting to the NCAA tournament as a freshman, that's obviously got to be a very valuable experience. And I mean, making it to the big dance in general, that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, only 68 teams get there. So, how valuable was that experience for you, and what are you hoping to showcase and improve on when you guys make it back this year?
Yeah, it was an unreal moment for me because, like, I mean, it was for every kid, for March Madness, especially their first time. You watch it, every year. It's like Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh
so
yeah.
for me to just be there, and then we're playing at the Hornets Arena. You see all the like behind the scenes NBA stuff, and so just literally everything. It was surreal, but also like motivating, especially like for the next year. I think like the guys that came back, we got a small taste of March Madness, and once you get there, you don't want to leave, and so
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing for our team because we know what it takes to get there. So
Yeah. Yeah, that tournament experience is definitely big because, I mean, you see most often the teams going the furthest have the most experience being there before.
yeah,
So, and then transitioning back to more of the personal side, you kind of hinted at some influences like your dad on your basketball career so far. but who would you say, it might be your dad, but who's been your biggest influence on your career so far and your continued journey and what you want to achieve in your basketball career?
Yeah, it would, man, it would have to be my family, not just my dad, but my brothers and sisters, in their career, they go hard each and every day. And so, just to see them succeed off of what they do and, their mindset, it definitely has helped me, growing up. And so, my dad played a huge part in all of us too. And so that's just easy for me to answer. So,
Yeah. Yeah, family is one of the truest motivators. I know that for sure.
yeah.
And then transitioning over to like the pro side of things. Obviously, you want to be in the NBA someday, and you want to be hooping at the biggest level. So, what NBA player would you say is kind of your biggest influence? Is there maybe one that you model your game after, or that growing up you modeled your game after?
Yeah, I would say like Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, and like Donovan Mitchell. I mean, they're not small, but like small guards in the NBA.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
uh, just to see them like what they do and at the highest level, it's a vision for me to learn and take what they use and just grow from it. So
for sure, for sure. What you got, Blake?
Oh, my bad. I kind of zoned out.
You're good.
Like for some kids that like love watching your game and stuff in high school right now, like what does a day in the life of you look like for guys that like want to aspire to be like you?
yeah, man, mine's not that much, man. I just I wake up, get breakfast, and then I got recovery before class, and then we don't practice early in the mornings. We practice at like 2:30 ish every day, and so then I'll lift, and then I'll get shots up before practice. Then we'll practice hard, man, to about 6. Then I'll get some
Dang.
more shots up after that, and then after that it's just homework.
Rinse and
And
repeat,
so
basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean it's kind of repetitive, but once you get used to it, you just start getting in the flow. So
Yeah, I feel you for sure. And then my last question probably would be like, do you have any pregame or in-game superstitions?
yeah, I gotta say my prayers, and then I gotta listen to Drake, and then yeah, that's about it. I put my left shoe on before my right shoe too. That's
uh,
another. Yeah,
Hey, whatever works for you. You got to follow
yeah,
that routine.
got
And
to.
yeah, I guess mine kind of a personal question and more so like a basketball related question. So obviously, with you being a smaller guard, what do you personally, just for all the guys that are maybe a little undersized out there, what do you think is the most important intangibles to have at like a smaller height for success at the D1 level?
Yeah, for smaller guards, especially at this level, got to be a pest on defense. I think that's the main thing. Uh, I wasn't the best at it, my freshman year, but I've learned, and talked to James about, like he was like, you want to get the next level, you gotta be a pest, man. I'm like, all right, man, I got you. And so, I'm still learning. I'm still learning myself. But yeah, you definitely got to be a pest on defense, and then you got to be able to knock down the shot. I think that's the main thing. And then just especially like for the point guard, just having that voice on the court. Being another coach on the court, and so just those three things itself, I think that leads all to just playing at the highest level.
Yeah. And lastly, for me at least, my another question I have just personally for your mentality, how do you respond to like the pressure and expectations that come with being such a highly touted player? Because obviously you exploded onto the scene last year as a freshman. Maybe some people weren't expecting you to have that kind of performance the whole season. And now you're coming into this season with a new group of guys and new expectations and a fan base that's obviously very excited. So how does you balance kind of those expectations and the pressure that comes with it?
Yeah, man, I try not to think about it too much. Last year, all credit goes to my teammates. They kept me uplifted. Whenever I had a bad game, they just kept me positive, and it was just vice versa. I think we created an energy uh, from the coach staff to the players. Like everybody got everybody's back. nobody's on the island by themselves, and so I think that's the a thing this year too. And when you got a group of guys, that just goes out, just sacrifice a lot each and every night, it's hard to just have pressure, And so when you look at it, individually, yeah, but for me, I have to look at it, as a collective group because I'm not the only one out there. So I just try to, look at it that way.
For sure, for sure. I actually have one more question. I lied. So, what,
Yeah.
you may not have one, but I want to ask, do you have a game this year that you might have your eyes set on a little bit or one that's circled on your calendar? Or is it just every game's the same, don't get too amped up for one? Or, like, personally, deep down, do you got one that you're thinking, yeah, I'm ready for that one?
Nah, not really. I would say,
Mm-hmm.
man, SEC is so competitive. You wanna beat everybody. I think that's
Yeah,
just the main thing. Just having the bragging rights. So
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the SEC, it's going to be a war again this year. Obviously, there's a lot of teams competing at the top, and I'm
yeah,
really excited for to see how it unfolds in the SEC tournament in Nashville this year. That's going to be a
yeah.
movie. I can't wait to get out there for that. That's going to be exciting.
Facts.
Yes.
Facts.
But, yeah, Blake, you got anything else for him before we send Josh on his way?
I just really want to thank you, Josh, especially
Yeah,
for
yeah,
being the first one to come on the show. Like, means a lot, dude.
yeah. I appreciate y'all, man.
No
Appreciate
Yeah.
y'all.
problem at all.
Yeah, for sure. It means a lot to us. You're our first interview, so as we continue to grow, we're gonna remember who our first one was. We appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll
Thank-
we'll definitely be keeping an eye on you this season. I know me, Blake, and the guys that couldn't be here tonight, we're all gonna be watching and cheering you on. So best of luck this season. Maybe we'll talk again at some point soon, and happy holidays to you and your family as well.
Yes, sir. Happy holidays. Appreciate y'all, man.